The table is set. Obama is going to defy the Constitution, and he is going to grant some level of amnesty for between 4 and 5 million illegal immigrants. So, game on. Will the Republicans show up, or will they surrender? And why do I have this new green screen behind me?
Those who forsake the law praise the wicked. Those who uphold the law resist them. Welcome to the Voice of Resistance. Here's your host, Randall Terry.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the broadcast. We are in our studio, which is under construction. I wanted to broadcast outside, as we have been. But no, the guy on the other side of the camera says, I'm too cold, and his hands were shaking so violently that he couldn't turn the on and off switch. So I said, fine, let's bring it in here where it's at least 55 degrees. It's 36 degrees outside right now, so we'll talk more about that in a minute. I want to talk with you about Obama and the table being set. Everyone is going to be focusing on the Republicans, but there'll be a lot of discussion about why would Obama do this? And I want to speak to you as a leader. I led the largest civil disobedience movement in American history. I've been arrested almost 50 times. I've spent over a year of my life incarcerated in various jails and prisons for taking a stand. And I had very powerful police people, people from the ATF, federal law enforcement agents, beg me, cajole me, order me to stop doing what we were doing. Had federal judges put me in jail. 2 federal judges that I can think of right off the bat held me in contempt, threw me in jail for contempt. And I wouldn't back down. I ran for president in 2012 against Obama in several states. I actually beat President Obama in the Oklahoma primary in 2012 in 14 counties. I won 6 or 7 delegates, and the Democratic Party changed the rules to make sure that I never had any delegates, which is to be expected. Now, in both of those situations, when I led Operation Rescue, when I ran for president, there were people, some people who were my friends, they said they were my friends, and some people who were my enemies saying, don't do this, stop doing this. You've got to be crazy. This is wrong. Giving me heck. I did not listen to them. I did not listen to them. And I led a group of candidates in 2012 who ran for the U.S. House of Representatives, all over the country. And together we ended up showing TV ads that showed dead babies on television and said that abortion was murder, that you cannot ethically vote for Obama, that Obama has blood on his hands, that it was a sin to vote for Obama. We said the truth. We wouldn't back down. We were people on a mission, okay? President Obama is a man on a mission. People look at the election results, how the Republicans trounced the Democrats in the U.S. Senate, in the U.S. House, in governor's races all over the country, in state assembly and state Senate races all over the country. Trounced, okay? And people are saying, well, why isn't he like Bill Clinton? In '94, Clinton got up to the mic after Newt Gingrich won the contract with America and the U.S. House went back to the Republicans for the first time in decades. Clinton went to the microphone and said, the era of big government is over. Clinton realized, look, this is representative government. This is what the people want, and I'm going to give it to him. But Obama is not doing that. Why? He's a believer. He believes, okay? He believes that he was brought to the presidency as an act of destiny or as an act of fate or somehow that God wanted him there. And I can promise you something, okay? There are advisors to President Obama right now that are meeting with him, saying to him, Mr. President, you came to the presidency for such a time as this. God brought you here to help the poor, to help the downtrodden. The people of this country elected you, knowing what you would do, and you owe it to the people who have suffered under the heel of the wealthy, who have suffered because the greedy of big business and big corporations and Wall Street have taken advantage of them for decades, for generations, sir. You have an obligation to fulfill your destiny. And you know what? He's listening to them. And he believes. He believes. He's a believer. And he is going to finish his mission. When we come back from this break, I'm going to talk to you about what it means for the Republicans. Because I'm telling you right now, the way I see this, Obama is going to trounce them. Now, before we take this break, I do want to mention we really are in our studio under construction. And thank the Lord and thank a lot of hard work, a lot of volunteer work, a lot of price shopping, buying used things, buying things as inexpensively as we could. Everything you see so far is paid for, and soon we will be broadcasting from a new facility. But we need help. And so if you are a regular viewer of this show and you are blessed by what you see, we need people who can give a $500 contribution or a $1,000 contribution or more. If you are willing to do that, I want you to call the number on your screen. This is our office number. It'll go to voicemail, okay? And I will call you back. Personally, I will call you back to talk to you about making a contribution and what we need to finish this project. So if you want to go to the website and make a $10 or $15 or $20 contribution, we thank you. We need them. But we're looking for people who have been blessed and have the resources to give a $500 or $1,000 or $2,000 contribution to get this job done. I thank you in advance. Call that number, leave your name and phone number. I will call you back. Be right back.
You have two choices. I mean, you can try to raise your children by design, or you will raise them by default. There are no perfect parents. We're going to get it wrong sometimes. If we have a plan, we've got a better chance of getting it right in the long run.
There is something deep within the heart of every human being that longs for parental acceptance and approval. When does a boy become a man?
Get a group of guys around and ask them that question.
I don't think there's a certain age. Some men stay boys their whole life.
I would say, 16, 18 years old.
Wow, that's a good question.
When they get bar mitzvah.
Well, I think when he has a child. So I just became at 56, 56 years old.
Without the power of the Holy Spirit changing us and giving us power over our sin, we can't hope to be the dads that our kids need us to be.
Why will the Republicans get trounced? The reason is because they are not true believers, and they're timid, and they're fearful, and they're used to making deals with the devil. That's why. Obama's going to look over the table at Boehner and at Mitchell and saying, this is a done deal, I'm doing it, if he even talks to them at all. They'll say, look, if you want to craft some legislation for me to sign that gives me what I want in this executive order so that you don't look irrelevant, I'll sign the bill. But I'm doing this with or without you. You people have bottled this up in your various committees on the House side for years. The Senate passed a decent immigration bill that would help assimilate some of these illegal immigrants. You wouldn't let it out. I'm doing it with or without you. Boehner doesn't have the guts to fight him. They've already proven that. Boehner and Mitchell do not have the guts. I mean, let's just go a step further. By the way, some people are saying, well, we'll reverse it in 2 years. No, we won't. Okay? No, we won't. There's not going to be a reversal of this. If you get a Republican president, he's not going to sign an executive order saying that these 4.5 million people who have assimilated at some level legally into the country are now suddenly illegals again. It's not going to happen. And the other thing is, don't believe somebody who says, well, there's a political upside to this. We can really use it to make Obama look bad or to really win the White House in 2016. There's no upside in this, people. It is a massive game changer. Massive. If you get 4.5 million people that have now gone from an illegal status to something that is legal, that puts them on the path towards citizenship, which puts them on the path to voting, and what President Obama is banking on, puts them on the path to being Democrat voters. Okay? That's what this is about. That is what this is about. And one other thing, for those of you who are saying, we got to ship them all back, there will never be, mark my words, all right? Never's a long time. There will never be a time when the United States government orders the removal of 12 million people from our shores. It's not going to happen. Now, let me tell you why it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen because we do not have the money and the manpower to make it happen. Have you ever seen a prisoner transfer? Have you ever seen one busload of prisoners be taken from a jail to a courthouse? All right? I've ridden on them. The number of officers that it takes, the number of man hours, the vehicles, just to move one little cadre of prisoners. It's beyond comprehension what it would take to move 12 million illegal people out of this country and the disruption that it would cost us. The man hours of people who should be fighting other crimes. It's just never going to happen. So we are going to have to figure out what we do with these people. All right? Do they just stay as illegals forever? Well, that's another discussion for another day. All right? But we are going to have to deal with it at some point. But what Obama wants is to increase the Democratic Party, and the Republican machine does not have the courage to withstand him. They don't. Well, if people are saying, well, they could defund it. They could authorize no money for it. Maybe. But maybe he'll issue some executive order about some administrative funds, executive funds that he does have some control over. Who knows what he's going to do? But he's not going to back down. And the option that the Republicans have is the one that they are ill-equipped to use. Namely, Mr. President, you have violated your oath of office. You have an oath, you swore an oath to uphold the laws and the Constitution of the United States of America. What you're doing is patently unconstitutional. You don't have the authority under the Constitution to summarily overturn immigration law. Okay? In other words, ready? It's an impeachable offense. It's an impeachable offense. Now, the leadership has already taken, the Republican leadership has already taken impeachment off the table. So what are they going to do? Boo-hoo, President Obama's a bad man. Boo-hoo, President Obama doesn't want to play by the rules. He's a bad man. Really? I mean, what are they going to do? Whine? Unless they are willing to meet fire with fire and to play hardball and uphold their duty to defend the Constitution and the laws of the United States, Obama's already won. He's laughing about this. He's laughing about it. And you know what else he's done right now, which is kind of funny? We'll talk about this a little bit when we come back. He's taken the Keystone Pipeline off of the front page. If you've been watching, you've got Bill Cassidy, U.S. House member, Republican, in a runoff in Louisiana with the current Democrat Senator, Mary Landrieu, okay? And it looks like Cassidy is going to win. You've got Mary Landrieu, who basically got Harry Reid, the current lame duck leader of the Senate, to agree to let out of committee and onto a floor vote for the first time in what, 5-6 years? Harry Reid's been bottling this up, that foul creature from Nevada. she's going to get a vote. Mary Landrieu is doing this to try and save her job, and Harry Reid is allowing it. Okay? So you've got Mary Landrieu, who's now going to get the Senate to vote on the pipeline. The Republicans are going to pass the pipeline. Is Obama going to sign it? I don't know. Probably not. But in the meantime, he's got it off the table. He's got it off the front page. He's going to have people so freaked out about immigration that they're not even focusing on the Keystone Pipeline. Now, if the Republicans had brains and backbone, they would take him on full throttle on both fronts. And if what they needed to do was to introduce articles of impeachment, they've got a majority in both houses. Would they get enough to actually impeach him? That would be for people to see. But there's going to be so much outrage against Obama. If he does this, if he does an executive order to grant some legal status to these immigrants, there will be hell to pay politically. But I don't think that the Republican leaders have the guts to deliver the due bill. I don't think Obama's going to have to pay. All right, I've got to take a quick break. When we come back, actually, you know what? One other thing. We're in, if you just joined us, we are in our mostly constructed new TV studio because we've had to move here to Memphis so that one of our sons could be treated for cancer. We decided we're going to pull up all our stakes in West Virginia and move here, lock, stock, and barrel for good. And thank God for the kindness of people, hard work to get us this far. But we need some help. So if you're somebody who could give a $500 or $1,000 contribution, call this number on your screen, 304-289-3700. Leave your name and phone number, and I personally will call you back, all right? If you can make a $500 or $1,000 or a $2,000 contribution, you want to ask me questions, you want to talk with me, the host of the show, I will make myself available to you. We need to raise the money, and thankfully everything we have so far is debt-free. We need to finish it that way. I'll talk to you in a minute. Do you want to get America out of the hands of wicked and unjust men and women who are destroying the republic before our eyes and put leadership back into the hands of righteous men and women so that we don't die as a nation? Well, you're talking about social revolution, and there are rules in social revolution. We can look at the victorious social revolutions of the past, such as the end of slavery, the end of child labor, women's voting rights, the end of segregation, and so much more, and learn from their victories. Look at their actions, their images, their rhetoric, their sacrifices, and their final fruit. We will send you this series that originally cost $129, 7 books for students, 1 teacher's guide, if you'll give a gift of any size and just pay for shipping and handling. Take advantage of it today. Let me talk to you for a minute about courage. As you watch the showdown that's about to emerge between Obama and the newly elected majority in the Senate, Mitch McConnell, John Boehner, who do you think has more courage? Beyond that, I want to point something out about the credibility that having courage brings. If you look in the book of Acts, when the apostles were preaching and then ordered not to preach, and they were beaten, and they said, well, you decide if we should obey God rather than men. It says that the Sanhedrin noticed and took note of the courage, the boldness of the apostles. They were simple, unlearned men, but they took note of their boldness and that they had been with Jesus. Their boldness in declaring the truth gave pause. Kierkegaard, the Christian philosopher, said that words can be elevated in their credibility by the courage of the person who delivers them. Think of Adolf Hitler. There's a book called Inside the Third Reich, written by Albert Speer. When he was a prisoner, he was sentenced from the Nuremberg trials, and he wrote it on smuggled pieces of paper. And he said that he really wasn't all that attracted. If my memory's correct, he said he wasn't all that attracted to the ideas of the Nazi Party. But when he saw Hitler speak, and when he saw Hitler drive in his convertible Mercedes with his hand out through an angry crowd, Albert Speer said he was so overcome by by Hitler's courage that he wanted to follow the man because of his courage. So whatever situation you find yourself in, if you believe in the triune God, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, if you believe in our Lord Jesus Christ, speak boldly. Speak courageously. Speak with confidence, because your very courage will add credibility to the words that come out of your mouth. And if John Boehner and Mitch McConnell think that they can stand against a man as courageous as Obama, because he is courageous, don't kid yourself, he's courageous. If they think that they can stand against him, wringing their hands, going, he's not a good man, he's not a man, they are going to get their political butts whipped. Oh yeah, and one other thing, if you want to call me on this, we are under construction here. We've got a really tight, fun studio that we're building. We need help to finish it. If you want to talk to me, if you can make a $500 or $1,000 contribution, call that number on your screen, leave your name and number, and I personally will call you back and talk to you. We need help. I'll be right back. Don't go away. I have been a leader in the pro-life movement for 30 years. And sadly, we have not prevailed in our goal to make it a criminal act to kill an unborn baby. There's reasons why we have failed. I wrote this book, A Humble Plea, to Catholic bishops, to evangelical clergy, and to lay people, explaining where we went wrong and what we have to do to prevail. We've made this available as a PDF online for free. I encourage you to go and download your own copy. We have put together what we call an online university for you. Now that's a highfalutin way of saying that we have a pretty significant library of material, books, tapes, videos that are there for you for free. Why are we doing this? Because America is desperate for new leaders, and because this material could help you to become the leader that you and God want you to be. Check it out and enjoy it. Jonathan Gruber. You may not be able to remember that name, but you probably have heard about his insults to you, the American voter, about being pretty stupid. Let's roll some of the clips that have made it into the national debate.
If you had a law which said healthy people are going to pay in, it made explicit that healthy people pay in and sick people get money, it would not have passed. Lack of transparency is a huge political advantage. And basically, call it the stupidity of the American voter or whatever. But basically, that was really, really critical to getting the thing to pass. And, it's the second best argument. Look, I wish Mark was right. We could make it all transparent, but I'd rather have this law than not. So it's kind of like his reporter story. There's things I wish I could change, but I'd rather have this law than not.
All right, so there are Republicans who are saying, we've got him. See, we knew they were tricking us. We knew it. We knew it. It's like the king at the end of Princess Bride when Wesley stands up and holds out the sword. And then the king is tied in the chair and he goes, I knew you were bluffing. I knew it. Really? All right, so you're going to hold hearings? You're not going to be able to overturn Obamacare because there was chicanery, because there was trickery, because we were deceived. He admits we were deceived. He counted on deceiving us and that we were stupid. All right? I think that the point we have to get here, among others, is that they're believers. This is what we have to understand. Whether they're Democratic National Committee policy wonks or they're Muslims who are lying through their teeth, when they are true believers, then they'll take a page out of the playbook of Machiavelli, all right, and deceive because they know what's best for us, that we convert to the status plantation. Huh, Jonathan Gruber?